Good morning, everybody. I'm astonished there's so many people here considering it's so cold and all the other things that are going on. We are delighted to have our usual biennial conference with a really nice wide range of speakers. We did our best to make sure that we had each of our grants represented, our 5 grants that we've had to date, although those of you who keep an eye on the grants will have seen that we have a new grant which just was advertised in September. I thought it'd be no harm to just quickly go through them because we get mixed up ourselves even when we're administering the grants and awarding them and then hearing about them. We get mixed up who does what, but so it's no harm to just kind of get a reminder, especially for any of you who are thinking of applying for a grant in the future, which we would invite you to do. So the grants you're going to hear about today, we have each of the grants. In fact, some of our recipients have received, who are speaking about research that have benefited from multi-grants, which is a really good idea where relevant. So we have the Archaeological Research Excavation Grant, which funds these days very small scale targeted excavation to answer very specific research questions. Obviously gone is the day of the amazing multi-period huge site excavations that we know and love, and we're just getting to start publishing them now after a long time. And I'm afraid those days are pretty much over in research excavation. But that doesn't mean that amazing work can't be done at a really small scale. Bringing cutting edge science to a very specific question. And we're going to hear about some of that kind of work today. But we will also be hearing from 2 legacy excavations that we're really proud to still to be funding to get them through the post-ex and publication. In addition, we have the Archaeological Research Grants, which is what we used to be called the small grants. But there's nothing really small about getting hundreds or thousands of euro to do a very particular research topic, often about artefacts, but also often very science-based, to look at existing material that has never been looked at before. We've expanded. One of the things we've realised about that grant is that it is quite small and that some people want to do bigger work over a more extended period, over a whole year. And we're conscious that in terms of sustainability, as we're moving away from excavating new material and looking at the vast amount of material we already have to which new techniques can be applied. So for that reason, we've started a new grant called the Archaeological Archives Grant, Archives Research Grant. So we're hoping, we saw one application, or we'd one successful application this year for that. But we're really looking forward to more people applying for that grant when it comes out in September next year. So working very closely with the Museum and National Monuments, it should be possible to tackle the treasures of material that are already in the museum and in the National Monument Service archives that need much, much more exploration. We're very grateful to Queen's University, who fund the radiocarbon dates grant. And then we also have the World Heritage grant. So very, very specifically for research that furthers the aims of protecting World Heritage sites. Did I leave any of them out, Jessica? I think that's it. So that's 6. C14, World Heritage, Archaeological Legacy, the new excavation, but it has to be small, and then the smaller research. Yeah, no, I think that's small. So I mentioned Queen's, but of course we must also mention National Monument Service, who provide the vast amount of funding for these grants, which we're extremely grateful for. And in recent years, that amount has been increased, and that's wonderful, but it also brings with it a lot of work. And so my next thanks are to the committee, and in particular the grants subcommittee, who do a huge amount of work. I know there are the grant recipients are here, and I know you suffer hugely in terms of the timescales when the grant goes out and how little time you have to put your application together and get it in, and then when you're successful, and then the pressure you're under to complete the work on time and get all the not just the research reporting in, but the financial reporting in. And well done you. And on our side of the house, we have the subcommittee who assess all the grants under an incredible amount of time, and then in the house, we have our new programme manager, Martha Fitzgerald, that you just met now, a dedicated grants programme manager who keeps us all in line and makes sure we're doing everything properly, ably assisted by senior exec Anna Brandt, who not only also had to fill in as programme manager in the last couple of months. So there's a huge team effort between the archaeological researchers, the committee, our funders, including the Academy who fund an element as well, and not least the Historic Environment Division in Northern Ireland have also been funding grants in recent years, and we're delighted to announce that we have just finalised a memorandum of understanding with them to secure that relationship into the future. And next year we look forward to opening all the grants to Northern Ireland topics and grant recipients. So that's something we're very proud of that we achieved recently. So I think that was what I wanted to say. Our first speaker this morning, Fiona, used both a radiocarbon date and an archaeology research grant for this work, which is very topical, an intertidal site, looking at environmental change, whether or not directly or not, in a way, looking at environmental, looking at climate change. So very, very topical. And I welcome Fiona to give her the first talk. Thank you.